Chiefs training camp is almost here, and there are new faces and new places on this Kansas City Chiefs roster. An exciting rookie class, to say the least. What we're going to do here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report is give you our top 5 rookies to watch at Chiefs training camp in St. Joe. We'll go over that full list, tell you more about them coming up in just a matter of moments. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. With Chiefs training camp almost here, if you're ready for Chiefs football, smash that like button. Please hit that like button. Look, here's the deal, folks. When we get new players coming in here, you know what happens? They watch this show. Their friends, their family members watch this show. They want to see what we have to say about them and what the fan base has to say about them. We need to let our voices be heard loud and clear that we are rooting on all these rookies, that they have our full support, that we want to see them succeed here in Kansas City. Hit that like button. We'll get started with today's show. The Kansas City Chiefs rookies, along with the rest of the veterans, are set to report to training camp here in the coming days ahead, and it's going to be a little bit different. In the past, what we've seen is that when it comes to Chiefs training camp, the quarterbacks and the rookies usually report together, and then the veterans report after that. Instead, they're changing course where everybody's going to report at the same time. On today's show, let's go over these top 5 most intriguing players to watch at Chiefs training camp. And by the way, let me say this before we go any further. My 5, I'm not saying are the best 5 players. My rankings here are the ones that have my attention the most, that I'll be following the closest here in the coming weeks ahead. So let's begin at the wide receiver position with the 4th-round pick, Jalen Royals, out of Utah State. I think he is the most fascinating rookie to watch out of this class because there's a great unknown here with Jalen Royals. What exactly is he going to be for the Kansas City Chiefs? Will Royals use himself as an explosive receiver that they stretch the field? Will he be more of a possession guy? Because he can really do both. The potential is there for Jalen Royals. And I think if all goes according to plan, then Jalen Royals very well could be your number 4 receiver and pass up Juju Smith-Schuster on the depth chart. But he's got to earn it. He's got to earn his stripes and prove it over the coming weeks ahead. And training camp and the preseason will be a big opportunity for him to do so. Let's get to know Jalen Royals a little bit further here. A 4th-round pick out of Utah State in 2023. He was a first-team All-Mountain West Conference selection. And last year he was a bit banged up. But even with that said, he still was named to the 2nd-team All-Mountain West Conference list. And you look at his numbers here, folks. In his 2 seasons of production, he was very strong. In 2023, in 13 games played, had over 1,000 yards receiving, 15 total touchdowns with 15.2 yards reception. Last year, he got banged up, but he still made an impact despite missing a decent number of games, playing in 7 with 55 catches, 834 yards. His yards per catch was the same year to year at 15.2 and still had 6 touchdowns. Nearly averaged a touchdown per game in 2024. I can't wait to see what he does here in Kansas City. How we feeling, Kingdom? Do you believe in Jalen Royals? Do you think he's going to have a fantastic season? Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in on our pinned comment today and let us know what you think. Chiefs training camp is here, folks, and we are covering it like no one else is with our daily news and rumors. We're bringing you breaking news. We're going to have all the highlights and analysis that you need to know from Chiefs training camp. We are your Chiefs training camp headquarters here on the channel. Subscribe now so you stay up to date with everything happening. We got you covered each and every day on the channel, sometimes multiple videos a day. And the best part about it, it's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Subscribe now, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. To subscribe now for free. Lock us in. You'll be glad you did. Now, this is where I go back to maybe not the best players are ranked 1 through 5 here, but the most intriguing. I can't personally put an offensive lineman as number 1 on the rookies to watch list, but I can say without question that Josh Simmons is the best rookie the Chiefs have, the offensive tackle out of the Ohio State. And the expectation is that he is going to assume the starting left tackle role for the Kansas City Chiefs, that he should beat out Jalen Moore. But can he step up quickly? All right? This is going to be a work in progress for him because, as you all know, I'm not breaking any news by saying this here, Andy just doesn't hand things to you. You have to go out there and earn it. And with a limited small sample size of what we've seen from Josh Simmons over the last couple of months, from mandatory minicamp to OTAs to rookie minicamp and all of that, even with him being limited, the Chiefs coaching staff was pretty impressed with Josh Simmons. But where I hesitate is you go back to last year, they were pretty enamored with Kingsley. We saw how that all worked out, right? It didn't work out so well when he started the season at left tackle here. So can he beat Jalen Moore and get the job done? And also, big picture, make a big difference on this offensive line to protect Patrick Mahomes' blind side after a season where Patrick Mahomes was sacked more than any season prior in his career. Simmons, a first-round pick out of Ohio State, was believed by many to be the best offensive lineman in this year's draft. Banged up a little bit, was still a third-team All-Big Ten selection, a part of Ohio State's national championship squad this past season. And one thing that I liked about Josh Simmons in particular was that early on in his career, when he's at San Diego State and such, he kind of had a problem with careless penalties. You know what he did last year? Granted, it was just 300 snaps. He cleaned that up. Only got called for one penalty. Did not allow a single sack. Overall grade was solid, 74.4. Pass block grade of 82. Run block grade of 68.7. I'm feeling very good about Josh Simmons. As long as he's healthy, I think they found a good one, a long-term solution potentially there at that left tackle spot. And we've seen, because the Chiefs pick at 32, they've kind of missed out in the past on these opportunities to get high-level offensive linemen, and they capitalized on their chance to get Josh Simmons here trading down with the Eagles there. Number 3, Omar Norman-Lott at the defensive tackle position. The Chiefs drafted him out of Tennessee. And for me, there is a great unknown here. What it reminds me of is, we had the NBA draft a couple of weeks ago. And in the NBA draft, a lot of times you see teams are saying, okay, maybe the body of work wasn't necessarily there, but the player was young or he was limited in his opportunities. We're drafting for potential of what he could turn into and develop. And that's what I see out of Omar Norman-Lott. What role is he going to play exactly? How much does he get time on the football field right away? Because bottom line, the truth of the matter is this, folks. Even though the measurables are all there with Omar Norman-Lott, when we talk about actual production, and we'll show you some stats here in just a moment from Omar Norman-Lott, it really wasn't all there. He played in all 13 games for the Tennessee Volunteers last year, but do you know how many starts he had? 0. for our Spanish friends. He was a Senior Bowl invitee, but there's not a whole lot there. Was not an all-SEC guy, not an all-American or anything. This feels like that the Chiefs are almost throwing a dart against the wall and saying, hey, we understand that Tennessee rotates guys and all of that. Now, let's just hope that we can see more from you at a consistent basis. The thing with Omar Norman-Lott, though, because you have Chris Jones and Mike Pennell and others, let's go back to the numbers that he had in college. All right, 4 sacks, 27 pressures. Year prior to that, 5.5 sacks, 16 pressures, and all that. If he can be that type of player, or maybe he's not an every down guy, but he can come in and apply pressure and make life easier on Chris Jones, and then eventually one day gets promoted to a starting role, I think you can live with that. I think you'd be feeling really good about your spot with Omar Norman-Lott coming in if he can potentially do that and make you feel a lot better about yourselves here. So It is a bit of a risk, but the Chiefs coaching staff seems to be liking what they've seen already from Omar Norman-Lott to this point. Who is your favorite Chiefs rookie? No wrong answers here, but I want you guys to chime in. Give me a name that comes to mind. Is it Josh Simmons? Is it Jalen Royals? Is it somebody else? Let us know in the comments section who your favorite Chiefs rookie is. Number 4 on our list, we're going to go to the 7th round now. This is where we find running back Brashard Smith. And Brashard Smith, I thought, was a really good find for Kansas City in the 7th round. He was somebody that had about a 4th to 5th round grade. So the fact that he was still available in the 7th round was really good for KC. And the way that the running backs had gone with how they had fallen, Brett Veach had some forward thinking where he said, okay, I can take Jeffrey Bassett in the 5th round, the linebacker spot, and I can wait on the running back position, and it paid off getting Brashard Smith. Now, I don't know how much they're going to depend on him, to be honest. I think a lot of it comes down to, okay, is Isaiah Pacheco back to his old self, which I'm confident that he will be, but the proof has got to be in the pudding first. And then Kareem Hunt as a short yardage back. And then, of course, you got Elijah Mitchell there. Where does he fit in? Is he mostly a special teams guy? Is he used primarily as a receiver out of the backfield, as he has tremendous receiving experience? There's a lot of unanswered questions. And don't do this, folks. Just because he's a 7th round pick, by all means, doesn't mean you should write him off. You know who else was a late day 3 pick? Isaiah Pacheco. All right? More on Brashard Smith. 7th round pick out of Southern Miss. You knew that Clark Hunt liked this pick, getting him from his alma mater. First team All-ACC in 2024. He was a first team All-ACC selection in 2023 at 2 different schools, might I add. First year at Miami, second year there at SMU, and playing 2 different positions. He's got a background as both a wide receiver and a running back, which will bode well in Andy Reid's system that loves running backs that can catch the football. You look at his rushing statistics last season, his average yards per carry, fantastic. 5.7, 14 touchdowns, over 1,300 yards. He's a little undersized, but that type of production you can make work with what he was able to do. And then when we talk about him as a receiver as well, when he played wide out at Miami, it was his special teams ability that got him that All-ACC honors. But you can see 300 yards receiving in 2022, 263 in 2023. And then last year as a running back, his numbers were even similar as a receiver to what he did playing the wide receiver spot at Miami as well. Last on our list is Nohl Williams, the corner out of Cal. I loved this pick from the Kansas City Chiefs. He was highly productive at Cal last season with 7 interceptions. But you go back to the offseason program, to rookie minicamp and OTAs and mandatory minicamp, Nohl Williams really struggled. He had a rough go at it, adapting to how the Chiefs do things and stepping up to playing at the NFL level. Is he starter caliber? Maybe not just yet. He might need a little more time. But he doesn't have to be a starter right away. But when you think about the future, all right, Christian Fulton, I think, is kind of a year-to-year guy. Jalen Watson, we don't know what his future is. It seems highly unlikely that the Chiefs are going to give him a long-term deal, as they've never re-signed a homegrown defensive back. I expect Trent McDuffie to be the first. And so maybe not this year, but at least in 2026 and beyond, I think the goal should be Nohl Williams turns into a starting corner for you. And I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Maybe we don't see him a ton this year, but he's a one to watch down the line. But if he grows in training camp, then his role could potentially grow, and maybe he's got a chance to beat out Christian Fulton potentially for a starting job. More on Nohl Williams, a 3rd-round pick out of Cal, a consensus first-team All-American, first-team All-ACC selection. Still sounds weird to be talking about guys from Cal and SMU as All-ACC guys, but that's a whole other topic for another day. Let's take a look at his numbers of what he did throughout his career at Cal, and they are off the charts, my friends. 2024, 7 interceptions, as we mentioned, 17 pass breakups, 52 tackles. The year prior to that, 2 interceptions, 8 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, 53 tackles. And then his coverage stats, really good. QB rating allowed only a 40.9, just gave up 362 yards with 3 total touchdowns. You can live with that. I was impressed with Nohl Williams, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do going forward from here. Brett Veach has had a lot of good drafts over the years, and I think he found some future starters in this draft. Was it his best draft class? You got 2 options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Be honest with me. Sound off in the comments and let us know. This is a fun group, and we didn't even get to talk about everybody today. You guys know I'm a big fan of Jeffrey Bassa. A lot of you like Ashton Gelati, although he wasn't my favorite pick by any stretch. But there's some talent here. Brett Veach did it again, folks. And he knows what he's doing. The guy is a wizard. He's a machine. And I think you're going to like the results. And we're going to start to see those right away here with training camp getting going in the coming days. If you enjoyed today's show, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on the Chiefs.